Last time on Dragon Ball Z, Bardock, the father of Goku, was gifted with the power of future visions. Though this was supposed to be a punishment, the Saiyan died happily knowing his own son would be the one to defeat Frieza. As the body was consumed by the death ball that destroyed planet Vegeta, Bardock saw one final vision. However, in this reality, his powers conflicted with his death. Rather than just dying from this attack, the Saiyan was teleported many years into the future. Not only through time, but also space. Now the Saiyan Rebel found himself on planet Earth a few days after the Universe 6 tournament. What does this strange land have in store for our hero? The future is revealed now. A vision of the past. What if Bardock was sent into the future?
Bardock's eyes slowly clear up. At first, he thinks he's ended up on planet Vegeta, that he dreamt everything to do with Frieza. However, he soon realized he was completely wrong. Once a flying car zoomed over his head, the Saiyan had ended up on West City, and he began to look around. He remained calm, but did grab a woman and shake her, trying to ask her where he was. This caused the police to begin a chase. Bardock ran away quickly, and the police couldn't catch up. Those beings seemed weak. But without a scouter, he couldn't just take the chance. His main worry was Frieza. Once Bardock escaped the police into the outskirts of the city, he realized one officer had managed to keep up. Bardock was ready to battle and egged on the challenge. He even insulted the officer.
Don't gotta be rude, Goku. Are you okay?
Krillin tilted his head as he tried to approach the Saiyan.
Why are you wearing Saiyan armor? You know Chi-Chi isn't gonna like that.
Before Krillin could finish the sentence, he was punched through a tree. The message was clear. This was either not Goku or a clone. Either way, he wasn't going to let this delinquent run amok in the city. Bardock looked at his clenched fist. That punch was a lot stronger than he wanted it to be. Wherever he was, the destruction of planet Vegeta had made him significantly stronger. If that really wasn't a dream. Bardock came back at Krillin with full force, though Krillin was able to keep up. He felt Bardock hit harder with every punch. He then realized that this Saiyan had a tail. He really began to get worried. The only Saiyan he knew with a tail anymore was Tarble, Vegeta's brother. Could it be that even more Saiyans survived? Krillin was finally caught off guard and thrown through a mountain. Bardock smiled.
Looks like there will be some strong fighters here. I'll make my way back and defeat Frieza.
Bardock flew away as Krillin slowly got up in pain. He had to warn the others. As fast as he could, he rushed towards Capsule Corp to get Vegeta. Meanwhile, Bardock explored the Dragon World. It was very different from planet Vegeta, but something seemed familiar to it. That bald police officer mentioned something about the planet named Earth. He didn't remember why, but Earth was a familiar name. Then it struck him. Yes! Earth was the planet where his son was sent to. Kakarot. He must have drifted off into space until landing here. Maybe he could find his son and train him, and toughen him up. Together they could defeat Frieza. Maybe those visions he saw were his own destiny. He then heard two children laughing loudly, heading his way.
Krillin told me you were causing trouble in the city. It's time to teach you a lesson.
Bardock ignored the purple-haired kid and focused on the kid laughing next to him. He looked just like him. It was obvious that he was a Saiyan, but he had no tail.
Kakarot?
Bardock asked.
What's a Kakarot? Is that something you eat?
That's your dad, dummy. My dad calls Goku that.
Bardock's eyes widened. So Kakarot was this kid's father? He couldn't believe it. Maybe this was some sort of trick from Frieza. After all, the Saiyans knew very little of his true power. Even so, he wanted to see what the Saiyan could do. Trunks and Goten fused into Gotenks, to which Bardock applauded them, with having learned such a difficult Metamorian technique at such a young age. Bardock said that if he really was Kakarot's son, then he was surprised that he could produce such a strong offspring. Gotenks was far stronger than even the Frieza he knew. Even still, Bardock's power kept on rising, most likely a side effect of his apparent death and powers. Gotenks said that he will beat him in just his base form. The battle began, with Gotenks gaining a quick upper hand. His strange moveset and unpredictable attacks made him difficult to pin down. Bardock was unpredictable himself. Bardock felt as if he was teaching the kids how to fight with every punch he threw. Suddenly, the kids felt a great ki coming their way. Bardock couldn't sense it, but he could feel the heat being emitted. It was Vegeta, Goku, and Gohan. They had all arrived to see what Krillin was making a fuss about. Vegeta instantly recognized the man, as he had been teammates with Raditz for a long time before planet Vegeta's destruction. His eyes widened, then he looked over at Goku. Goku wasn't phased at all. He didn't know who this man was, and he didn't care. This Saiyan hurt Krillin and the kids. He was going to pay.
Gotenks, get over here. We'll take care of this.
Gohan said. Bardock took a step towards Goku, mesmerized by seeing his son all grown up. It was strange. He was not usually emotional, but he could tell just how powerful Kakarot has become. He was going to say something, but Goku was already uppercutting him. Yep, this really was his son. Bardock didn't stop to say anything. He simply wanted to have a battle. Vegeta turned to Gohan and told him who he suspected the mysterious Saiyan was. Gotenks yelled out,
What?
before being shut by Gohan. None of them could believe it. Maybe it was because of the Dragon Balls? That didn't matter. It was clear to all of them that Goku hadn't been this happy in a long time. Sure, he thought the Saiyan was his enemy, but they were both having a blast. Though Bardock was getting stronger, he couldn't fathom the power Goku was at the moment. They clashed fists over and over again, causing shockwaves throughout the world. Bardock was finally punched away, and as he was getting back up, he saw a golden glow.
That's a Super Saiyan!
He said just as Goku finished the battle with a giant Kamehameha. Everyone went over to Bardock, who was hurt from the blast. He stood up in front of Goku, who asked,
Now tell me, why are you here? Because of the Dragon Balls?
Bardock pulled Goku into a hug. Goku slowly transformed back into base form. It was silent for a minute, as Goku thought about how familiar this feeling was. Bardock stepped back and said,
Kakarot, you've gotten so powerful. You were just a kid with a power level of 1. No one thought you'd amount to anything.
Goku was still confused, but finally he said,
So, you're my dad?
Bardock nodded and said that he had no idea how he ended up there. That at first he thought it was some kind of trick that Frieza was doing on him, but now he realizes that he had instead been teleported into the future.
You defeated Frieza, didn't you? As a Super Saiyan? I knew it! I knew you could do it, son!
Gotenks said that technically half his future self killed him first, to which Gohan and Vegeta slapped him in the back of the head. He then complimented Gotenks, as he was very powerful. Gohan introduced himself, and was brought into a hug too, without warning. Bardock made him promise to battle sometime too. Bardock then turned to Vegeta and lowered his head.
Prince, King Vegeta.
Vegeta waved away the royal names, and told him to just call him Vegeta. After some more talk, Bardock was invited to the Sun household. Chi-Chi refused to let that smelly man inside her house. She didn't care if he was Goku's own father, he had to clean up before he could come inside. Bardock was embarrassed, but as a battle-hardened warrior, he was also pissed. He got close to blowing up the entire house for a second. Thankfully, Goten and Gohan held him off. He finally caved in and took a bath. They had a grand feast, where Chi-Chi happily talked to Bardock, after talking through their differences. She asked how Goku was as a child, but Bardock said that he barely knew the kid. Goku, though happy to meet his father, didn't really see him as that. To Goku, his father was Son Gohan. After eating, Goku and Bardock stepped outside to talk. Bardock said it was great to see just how far he had come. And Goku said thank you, calling him by his first name. Bardock lowered his head and acknowledged that they can't really have a father-son relationship. After all, he was never there. Saiyans overall never really stick around for their children anyways, but he hoped that Goku knew that both Gine and himself sent him away to protect him. Goku understood, and the two began to talk about Planet Vegeta, Gine, and even Raditz. Bardock was saddened to hear that he was killed in an altercation between the two boys, but he understood that it had to be done. Bardock invited Goku to one more battle in the middle of the night. The fight was fierce, and everyone in the house watched as the two burst their auras. Chi-Chi tried to get them to stop, but Goten cheered them on. Goku showed off every single one of his Super Saiyan transformations. Bardock was perplexed by this, realizing that both Super Saiyan legends turned out to be true. The two clashed blasts at one point, a battle that Bardock lost. As he was consumed by the attack, he saw one more vision. Goku and Frieza working together against an unknown enemy. He hoped it wouldn't be true. He hated the mere thought of it. This vision, however, made him angry more than anything. For 1 second, Bardock's aura sparked open in a golden glow. Lightning struck the ground as he rushed at Goku, punching him square in the jaw. This sent him crashing onto a mountain. It hurt him a lot. Goku rushed back and saw how Bardock's power was erupting. He was surprised to see his father turn into a Super Saiyan. However, Bardock felt something inside, as if he was being pulled away from this world. His time was up, he just knew it. As a final message, he put a hand on Goku's shoulder. He told him to beware of Frieza, and to never trust him, and that they will meet again. After all, he has those Dragon Balls, right? Goku was confused and told him to wait. However, it was too late. Bardock slowly faded away. Goku didn't know what just happened, but Goten began to tear up. Was that all even real, or was that some kind of illusion? He had to talk to Enma Daiyozama about it some other time. Meanwhile, Bardock found himself in a white void. There was nothing around him, but he had a hill on top of his head. He then heard the voice of an old man.
That kid is something else, isn't he?
Bardock turned around and saw a short man with a bright smile. Bardock said that, yeah, he is, and that he was very proud. The man extended his hand and introduced himself as Gohan.
I'm very proud too. Come, we have a lot to talk about.
The two men walked off into the distance, but soon enough, they would see their beloved Goku once more. Vegeta had witnessed the whole battle and thought to himself that he never got to say goodbye to his dad. He wasn't necessarily too fond of him, but he would like to see him once more if Kakarot got the chance. But that's everything for now.